All right, let's look at some of the major arteries of the body on this model right here. Now remember, unless you're going to lungs, you want to always start with this aorta. Again, the right ventricle pushes blood through this pulmonary trunk, pulmonary arteries to the lungs. But remember, this left ventricle is going to push blood into this aorta, which leads out into practically every artery in the body except those pulmonary. So let's trace a drop of blood, let's say from the heart to a finger in your right hand. So if you leave the heart, you're going to start with the aorta right here. First branch off the aorta is the Brachiocephalic Artery. It comes right up here along the superior part of the right side of your chest. As soon as that brachiocephalic passes under your clavicle, it's going to be the right subclavian. As soon as it passes up under your arm, it'll be the right axillary. Then you got the brachial artery from shoulder to elbow. Then remember, in the anatomic position, your palms are forward. So that means the radial artery will be lateral to the outside, and the ulnar will be medial to the inside. And then you got palmar in the palm of your hand and digital in your fingers. So let's go through those one more time. Leaving the heart towards the finger in your right hand, aorta, brachiocephalic, subclavian, axillary, brachial, radial and ulnar, palmar and digital. Now if you left the heart and went towards the finger in your left hand, everything's exactly the same except there's no brachiocephalic to the left. Other than that, the order would be identical. Up here in the neck, they don't really show the carotids and such, but remember, coming up each side of your neck, there is a common carotid, and then just before you get to the angle of the mandible, that's where it splits. There's a thick spot called the carotid sinus, and it splits into internal and external carotids. So there are two common carotids, left and right, two internal carotids, left and right, and two external carotids, left and right. And if you look at how blood gets to your brain, those two internal carotids, along with two vertebral arteries, which run through the transverse processes of the cervical vertebrae, are those four big flows to your brain. So now let's trace a drop of blood from your heart all the way down to a toe. Now, it wouldn't matter which toe you go into, it's going to be the same. So again, if you leave this left ventricle, don't forget to always start with the aorta. Now, if you look at parts of the aorta, the first part is the ascending aorta. There's the aortic arch, and then you got descending, which a lot of it you can't see. You can't see the thoracic piece of the descending in this model right here. But here a little bit lower, you can see the abdominal aorta. So again, if we just go heart, go through the aorta, right here at L2, your second lumbar, it's going to split into common iliac. If you continue down, that's going to be external iliacs. Then you're going to have a femoral and a deep femoral through the femoral region. Then it's going to pass behind your knee and be the popliteal artery. And remember, down here in the leg or crural region, there's a fibula bone to the outside. So there's a fibular artery here. And then the tibia has got two arteries associated with it. There's an anterior tibial artery to the front of it, a posterior tibial artery to the back, and then your ankle dorsalis pedis artery and digital in your toes. So let's go through that one more time. Leaving the heart, going down to any toe, wouldn't matter which one. Aorta, common iliac, external iliac, femoral, deep femoral, popliteal, fibular, and then two tibial, anterior, posterior tibial, dorsalis pedis, and digital. So it'd be the same either direction. And looking at a few other arteries and veins and such shown on here, here we got in red our pulmonary arteries and pulmonary veins. And the pulmonary arteries actually in blue here, and pulmonary veins in red. Here is your liver. You'd have the hepatic artery and vein. Here's your spleen, splenic artery and vein. Kidneys, renal. And here's also your internal iliacs coming into the pelvic cavity. So that's primarily what's shown on this model right here.